So this is the grave of Alton Sterling, June 14th, 1979 to July 5th, 2016. CD Man is in quotes above his name. See if we can get a better shot. And it says, "No justice, no peace" on the bottom. So this guy will be one of the more controversial graves that I show and talk about. If you don't know his story, basically, he was outside of a corner store. He was selling bootleg music CDs and movies and what have you. And I guess somebody approached him about, if they had $1 or something panhandling, and he showed his weapon to them. The story is either he pulled it out on them or he showed them and he told them to get away from him. So somebody called the police and said this guy had a gun. The police come to the scene and they're like, "What's going on?" Alton was very standoffish because, as you can see, there's video all over YouTube. He was very standoffish, and being standoffish because when you're a convicted felon, you're not supposed to have a gun on you. And later came to find out that there was a gun on him. And there was a struggle with the police, and they shot and killed him. And of course, it was all over the news, and everyone started protesting, calling for the jobs of the cops. Whatever your opinion is on him, you can form it yourself. And then sadly, I believe it was on July 17th of 2016, some crazy guy, I'm not even going to mention his name. You can go look him up if you want. He ended up going on a rampage and shooting and killing 3 Baton Rouge police officers. So, the guy that killed the cops, he referenced this police shooting as the tipping point in his own mind. And you can see video and pictures of that guy online. He passed by so many normal citizens just to get at the cops. And, it's sad to say that, because of this grave, not to blame Alton Sterling at all. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a lot of pain and suffering behind Alton here getting killed. And, at the end of the day, I'm not here to judge this man, because whether you believe in the Bible or you don't, I guess his judgment is going to happen eventually before God, if you believe that or not. But I will say this, did he deserve to get killed? Of course not. Of course not. But you got to realize, people, and I often say this when I do these videos, the police, they're not playing with you. They're not playing with you. And here's the thing, if you're going to struggle with them and you have a gun on you, they're going home and you're not. That's it. This man had a child, a teenage son that he left behind. And now, you got another kid growing up in the streets that doesn't have their father anymore, because in hindsight, he made a bad decision to put up a fight with the police instead of saying, okay, they're going to catch me with a gun, I'm going back to prison. Oh, well, eventually you make a mistake, you try to learn from your mistakes, and you get out of prison and you try to right yourself. But sometimes people just don't think that way. People sometimes, they just think, I'm not going back to prison, and that's it. And this might have been one of those circumstances where he says, you know what, I've already done time in prison. I did 4, 5, 6 years, and I'm not going back. And you got to think of your family. You got to think of your wife. You got to think of your kid. You got to think of your family before you think of yourself in that situation. So anyways, with that being said, rest in peace to Mr. Sterling. And, hey guys, if anybody out here can learn a lesson, if you deal with the police, don't try to go against them, because it's not going to end up good for you. Anyways, Lamont at Large, signing off.